Hey TV fans, welcome to Tori Talks TV. I'm Tori. On this episode, I'll be giving you a brief review of the HBO and BBC miniseries called Industry, which was 8 episodes long. The synopsis is, a group of young graduates compete for permanent positions at a top investment bank in London, but the boundaries between colleague, friend, lover, and enemy soon blur as they immerse themselves in their new world. All right, let's break this review down into categories. The first one is the acting. First of all, the entire cast was outstanding. You know, I typically in these reviews like to pick standouts, but it was really difficult for me to do that because this was just some top-notch acting by some actors I've never even seen before. I don't know if they're newcomers or not. I've never personally seen them, but I cannot say enough good things about the acting in this show. But if anything, I'm going to have to give special mention to the lead actress, Mahala Harold, for her dynamic performance as Harper. Anytime an actor makes a scripted show look like a documentary, you know that they're delivering a flawless performance. I also have to give major kudos to Marisa Abela, who played Yasmin. She was so fierce, and both of these actresses had a lot of work to do, a lot of different levels to play on in the spectrum of acting, and I think they were both very, very believable and compelling. All right, next category, let's talk about the story. So investment banking is extremely foreign to me, so I could only speak to the individual character's personal journey through this very cutthroat industry. So it was on the verge of being too niche for me, but I can appreciate that world and all the sacrifices one would make for it. The script, in my opinion, was incredibly well written and thoughtful, and it had a lot of variety in it. So, I mean, there were some times when it was very funny, sometimes when it got very dark, but I think that's why it could be really appealing to many different types of audiences. We also got to see a story from the point of view of a Gen Z college grad. Oh my gosh, have times changed? Made me feel kind of old, totally out of the loop of what the Gen Zers are doing with their free time. So I'm not really a big fan of the gratuitous sex scenes, but they really did seem necessary in this show to cut the tension. It's a very high pressure world, obviously, and I didn't mind it for some reason. This show just has a lot of grit, and there are some scenes where these characters are being belittled, which could be a little hard to watch, but otherwise it's nothing too extreme. It's just, I don't know, scenes I've never seen before, but that all made for a very entertaining story. All right, let's talk now about the production value, which I think as far as costumes and sets go was very simple. They didn't have to do much. I mean, it's a lot of just business attire, and they're, you know, in the banking world and the banking floor, and it's just like a desk, and I mean they didn't really have much to do there, so it's nothing too flashy. And you know, the period pieces tend to have a lot more work to do, the production design. But yeah, I thought it was true to the story, and I like that it didn't take away from the story and it wasn't distracting at all. All right, lastly, let's talk about the pacing. So it did tend to drag a little for me at times, but that could be because of my lack of knowledge of investment banking. Otherwise, I think it was pretty attention-grabbing, especially with their crazy over-the-top lifestyles. So I think that I think episode 2 was the only one where I was kind of starting to be like, I'm not sure if I like this, but as soon as you get to episode 3 and beyond, it'll keep you in there. All right, so out of 5 stars, I would give it 3. The only reason I'm doing 3 is because I think there were some loose ends that were never tied up, and it did seem to be marketed more towards people in that industry, which I can't fault them, but for me personally, I would say 3 out of 5. It was definitely super entertaining. I still highly recommend watching it. All right, let me know if you saw it, what you thought about it, and what rating you would give it out of 5 stars, and then like and subscribe if you could, please. Thank you so much for watching. Happy TV watching, everybody. See you next time.